Welcome to Living Zen. I'm Eshu, and this talk is a reflection on Zen form, not as something merely procedural, but as something alive and relational, shaped through breath, movement, sound, and shared practice. If you're new here, Living Zen is a podcast about Zen practice as it's lived, sincere, embodied, and woven into real human lives. You can learn more about the Zen West Sangha at www.zenwest.ca. For now, let's step into the Zendo together and listen to the talk. It's a good feeling to have so many people in the Zendo tonight. It reminds me of so many things that I'm grateful for in this tradition, this form of practice. That you can bring 20 people together into a room and have it function. That we can have periods of deep, still zazen, meditation. Before I get too far into talking tonight, I just want to talk a little bit about the form. Last week I was talking about practice, about not being too grim in practice, about fun and about humor and about play. And so in some ways we can approach the practice of the Zen form with a spirit of play. Not trying to get things right because we're bad if we don't, but because it's fun, because it makes everything run smoothly. It serves to benefit all of the other practitioners who are in the Zendo. So just quickly, when we're entering the Zendo, anytime we're moving towards something, the active hand posture when we're moving is called gasho. It's hands palm to palm. So if I'm entering the Zendo, my hands are in gasho. And the passive or the retreating, receiving hand posture is called sashu. And for this one, you put your right hand flat on your abdomen, your solar plexus, with your left hand covering. So when we do our walking meditation, we're walking in sashu. When we're coming into the Zendo on our own, we're bringing our hands into gasho. When we're leaving the Zendo at the end of the evening, hands in sashu. And these are just little ways where we're bringing mindfulness into everything that we're doing in the Zendo. Traditionally, your hands are never supposed to be at your sides or hanging down, flapping in the wind. The old writings say, never. You're always aware of what you're doing with your hands. You're always aware whether you're coming or you're going, whether you're manifesting the active or the passive. Tonight, okay, that's it for the form lecture. The other thing I just wanted to observe is just sitting. You can sit in a lot of different postures. You can use a chair if you need to. You can use cushions to sit seiza. We only ask that when you take up a position in the Zendo, take up a position that you can maintain for the duration of the sit, so that you don't need to move during the sit. Of course, that's going to happen. You're going to sit funny once in a while. The nerve's going to get tweaked and you're going to feel some pain. And maybe you have to move. That's okay. I'm not going to freak out about that. Just giving it to you. You don't need to impress anybody. There's no perfect posture for you to sit in. Use your discretion, your own wisdom to take up a solid seat. So what was coming to me this evening as the sit began was to look at or to explore the practice of our form in a little bit of a different way. One of the things that has always struck me about the form of practice that I've never heard taught about, I've never heard really sort of stepped into by any of the teachers that I've practiced with, but is so clearly there, is the animacy of the form that we practice. I think that as Zen made the transition from Japan to North America, it was mostly brought here by psychologists and scientists and doctors, psychiatrists, all very sort of intellectually oriented people who had powerful experiences in meditation halls all over the world, wanted to bring these things home, but also were coming into a culture where we had to be very careful. They wanted this practice to be taken seriously. So there were a lot of things that were just kind of not really talked about, or I guess they tried to leave them behind as much as possible. But these aspects of practice, they're embedded. They're in the DNA, you could say, of the practice itself. And the more I've engaged in practice, when I first started, I was absolutely a skeptical, atheistic, almost materialist, I guess you could say. Over, 30 years of practice, I've become a full-blown animist. So when I step into this meditation hall, I carry incense with me. The incense is an offering. It's also a smoke medicine, if you want to understand it that way. When we come into the meditation hall, the first thing I'm doing is acknowledging this place, the beings of this place, the relationships that have been in this place, the ancestors of this land. And I'm not doing that to check a box. I'm not doing that because somebody says that I need to do that. For me, I'm in relationship. Everywhere that I'm going, I'm just trying to really understand and step deeper into relationship with the land, with the people, with the other than human beings and spirits that are around me all the time. So we begin with that. And I walk the full length of the hall, the Zendo, the way place. That's what Zendo means. The way of Zen. And I go up to the front and I ring a bell. And from the moment the jikijitsu, that's the roll that I'm doing at the front of the hall, the moment the jikijitsu walks into the hall, the practice session, we're on. The door is closed. Serious. Well, not too serious, but we're game on, I guess you could say. The ring the bell, this is kind of announcing that we're all here together to practice. And then I approach the Butsudan, the Buddha house, the altar, the shrine, and I make an offering of incense. I'm smoking the whole room, making this incense offering, and everybody can smell it. All of our breath combines, taking in this offering and breathing out this offering together. And we together offer this incense to the Buddha. The Buddha in Zen has the sort of temporal dynamic of being a historical person who had a teaching and shared this with the world. And also in Zen, it has this absolute dynamic Buddha meaning the one who is awake, representing the manifestation of our own awakened nature, which is with us all the time. We glimpse from time to time, maybe we take a deep dive into it from time to time, and our practice is to be in relationship with that fundamental awakened nature. Just as we dissolve and that awakened, realized nature arises, again, the self, that aspect of us that steps back and sees the world and differentiates, arises. And we step into our self, I am. And so this is the manifestation of what I'm doing when I'm standing up there offering incense, doing these big arm gestures. I'm bringing us all together, all of our breaths, all of our beings. I'm standing up there like a mountain of ego, and then exhaling, dissolving, falling away, melting completely, emptying out. Exhaling. And then beginning the breath again, breathing in, arising, manifesting, standing up again, over and over, 3 times. I am bowing with deep respect to my ancestor, to a teacher, to a great human being. And at the same time, I am acknowledging that fundamentally awake aspect of myself. The one who bows, the one who is bowed to are not separate. They're one. So I finish the 3 bows, and I come and I sit down. While I'm doing the bows, there's another layer going on. The shoji is outside banging on a board. It's called the kaihan. And there's a pattern that's being beaten out on the kaihan. And there's actually 108 notes being played. It's not just a board being banged. It's actually considered an instrument. There's a song that's being played, and that song traditionally is used to resound through the training ground so that all the beings within earshot know that this practice is happening, that there's a group of people coming together. It's also really helpful if you're on the other side and you can know you're late. You better get your butt into the Zendo. But it's an announcement to all beings that the Dharma is going to be practiced. And then we begin to chant. And here I start with humming, because I found that people are really uncomfortable. We don't sing very much in sort of North American individualist culture. We've come to really look at making sound as kind of problematic. We kind of experience doing things collaboratively or together kind of problematic for the most part. So I like to start just by humming. It's the easiest one. You don't even have to open your mouth. But we're breathing together. And we're feeling into this sense of support. That you can really, with your mouth closed, humming, you can really push. You can hold, you can carry. Someone else beside you can take a breath while you're doing that, and the humming continues. And then when you need to breathe, the person beside you will be carrying, so that we're stepping into a collaborative community practice. And then we open our mouths. Ah. And we're doing the same thing. It's louder. Our whole bodies are warming up. Our breathing is deepening together. And then we step into chanting. And the chanting that we're doing is not just Coca-Cola or some random sounds. This is a Heart of Perfect Wisdom Sutra. In the Zen school, this is considered really the pinnacle. This practice, chanting the Heart Sutra at the beginning, I really view as a kind of clearing practice. This teaching is considered so potent that in the Zen tradition, we chant this sutra between 7 and 14 times a day during retreat. When a child is born, we chant this sutra. When a person is dying, we chant this sutra. When we chant this sutra, I really look at it like anything that isn't clear, anything that isn't aligned with practice is kind of getting blasted out of the area. It's coming out of us because it can't sustain this teaching. It can't resist this teaching. It goes through. So oftentimes you'll find people coughing. Sometimes during the chanting, your throat will get dry. You'll feel physically sort of agitated. People will leave. It's okay. If you notice this happening to yourself, oftentimes we get a little bit embarrassed or we get sort of like worried. I'm going to choke to death and that actually just seems to make it worse. So it's okay. You can cough, you can clear your throat, you can do whatever you need to do, just really recognizing that it's really a way of kind of letting off anything that doesn't want to sort of be in the room with us while we sit. And I've noticed that the bell rang, so that's the timer for the talk. So when we're looking at Zen practice, it's easy to say this is a very simple practice. Very clear. It allows us to sit together harmoniously in quite a large group. And it's taken me, 15, 20 minutes to talk about just some of the things that are happening inside of this form, inside of this tradition, and we haven't even got to the sitting part yet. So, for this evening, I think I'm going to just leave it there. The bells ring after we're finished chanting, and we begin sitting. And now a single bell will ring, and then we'll do some walking. Okay. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to stay connected with the practice of Living Zen, there are a few ways to do that. Zen West is an active Zen practice community, and you can find teachings, events, and Sangha life at www.zenwest.ca. I also share ongoing teachings, reflections, and recordings through my Patreon, The Red Mountain Way. If this podcast supports or inspires your practice, and you'd like to help keep it happening, becoming a patron is one of the most direct ways to do so, and I'm grateful for your support. For those who are seeking more personal, one-to-one support, I do offer individual guidance and mentorship. You can learn more at www.monarchtrancework.com, and you'll find all of these links in the episode description as well. And finally, if you find Living Zen meaningful, one of the easiest ways to help is by liking, subscribing, and sharing the podcast. These simple and cost-free actions help the podcast grow and reach people who may not yet know about Living Zen. Wherever you're listening from, thank you for your time, your attention, and your practice. Until next time.